What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys are doing well. How's it going? Got Willamette Valley, Oregon, Black Hills, South Dakota. We got California, Oklahoma, Boise, Idaho. What's going on, Ross Niderman, Smoking Swamp Outdoors, Cat Swee, good to see you. Tartan Granny, Diva's Mom. Thanks to all the mods for showing up. Vanessa, thank you very much. So we have some breaking news tonight. Gonna go over some of the latest news that I have. And you can't see it here on this map, but we had 4 VIP planes head over to Europe just now. So that's pretty concerning. Military VIP planes. We had, I think it was 2 or 3 Air Force VIP planes, and then there was some other kind of military VIP plane heading over to Europe, which is very weird. As far as I know, there aren't any scheduled meetings or anything in Europe, so I don't know why they would send 4 VIP planes. What's going on, God Soldiers? Good to see you. I gotta respond to your text messages. What's going on, Char from Pennsylvania? Lots of Ohioans. Yeah, lots of Ohioans. So I'm just gonna give it a few minutes here for everybody to show up. So just stand by one moment here. What's going on, Aldo Schmedak? No, the sound is not out. I just muted the sound for a second here. I was just waiting for everybody to show up. Kumquat Singleton, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. I hope you're having a good Tuesday night. Gibbs Brothers Paranormal, good to see you. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. So let me just go through some of the main headlines here with you guys. So we're going to start off with Ukraine. So the New York Times reports a Ukrainian official has confirmed the country's military has fired weapons into Russia for the first time. Ukraine last night claimed it successfully hit a missile system inside Russia using U.S. weapons. It said the country's forces destroyed Russian missile launchers with a strike in the Belgorod region. Senior politician Yehor Chernev claimed Ukrainian forces used a Himars, according to the New York Times. So Ukraine is saying that they used a Himars to destroy the Russian missile system. Looks like it was a S-400, and I shared some of the footage of that in my prior updates, but looks like we now have official confirmation from the Ukrainian side that they did in fact use U.S. Himars to destroy a Russian air defense battery. It looks like a S-400, which is their best air defense, destroyed by an American Himars. So I'm sure Putin is not going to be happy about that. And I'm pretty sure that the U.S. probably pushed Ukraine to do that strike simply because the U.S. was probably curious if their Himars would be able to destroy an S-400. So they basically used Ukraine as a testing ground to see how effective their Himars are against Russia's best air defense system, the S-400. So, Ukraine and this war in Ukraine is a testing ground for all these different weapons by NATO and also for Russia. Russia and NATO are both using Ukraine to test some of their weapons against each other. Sandman, thank you for the donation, Sandman. I really appreciate it. So this is huge news, guys. Ukraine officially confirms that they have used American weapons on Russian territory to destroy one of Russia's S-400 air defense systems. That's the best air defense that Russia has, destroyed by an American Himars. So very embarrassing for Russia. I'm sure they're not going to be happy about that. This is being reported by the New York Times today. We're also hearing that NATO countries are set to create a drone wall along the NATO eastern flank, which aims to provide round-the-clock monitoring of threats across the border from Russia and Belarus. 6 nations sharing a land border with Russia and Belarus, namely Finland, Norway, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, will pool resources to ensure thousands of military-grade and consumer drones can patrol the skies over their eastern regions. So this is pretty interesting. Poland, all the way up to Norway and Finland, and all the countries in between are pooling their resources to get thousands of drones that can patrol the border with Russia. That's insane. And we know that Poland has already committed the equivalent of $2.5 billion to fortify their border with Russia and Belarus. They're creating a 200-meter buffer zone along their border with Belarus. There's been just massive amounts of NATO reconnaissance over Poland and the Baltic countries, which is a huge sign that something big is about to go down. I think Russia and Belarus are going to attack Estonia and the Baltic countries and potentially Poland and Finland as well. So huge news about Ukraine, though. What's going on, John Hoover? Good to see you. Hopkinson, thank you for the donation. Greg, I got your next meal at Potter's. There is a credit there for you. Thank you for everything you do. Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. That was very thoughtful of you. And that's a funny comment about the Potter County pub or whatever. The bears growling. Yeah, why did they test an ICBM? I think they tested the ICBM as a show of force, for sure. We also have major breaking news coming in that the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine has put out a warning saying that men with dual citizenship, that's U.S. and Ukrainian citizenship, will no longer be able to leave Ukraine. Certain Ukrainian men with dual U.S. Ukrainian citizenship between the ages of 18 and 60 will no longer be able to travel outside of Ukraine, the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine announced today. Okay, so this is very serious, guys. Okay, looks like Ukraine is getting ready for a worst case scenario, and they're banning anyone with dual citizenship, U.S. and Ukrainian citizenship, to leave Ukraine because they're going to need manpower. They're going to need men between 18 and 60 to send them to the front because Russia is planning a massive offensive in the coming weeks and months. And, you know, one thing that kind of I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks is that what if this big offensive by Russia, it's not really going to be a big offensive, and what's really going to happen is instead of Russia launching a big offensive in Ukraine like everybody thinks, instead they're going to launch a big offensive against the Baltics and Poland. You know, and they're just using Ukraine as sort of like the head fake, you know. They want everybody to think that they're going to go after Ukraine when in reality they're not. They're going to go after the Baltics, you know. That's a possibility, you know. But we do know that Russia has massed a huge number of troops along the border of Ukraine near the Sumy Oblast, which is north-central Ukraine. Russia has grouped like 50,000 or more troops, hundreds of tanks, or even over 1,000 tanks, I think, just over the border from Sumy. And, you know, if they cross over into Sumy, Sumy's not heavily defended, so that's going to be a problem. And Russia's continuing to make gains all across the entire front line. In the eastern part of Ukraine, they're still making small gains along the entire front line. So they're slowly nibbling away at Ukrainian territory. But this is huge news, okay? So men with dual Ukrainian and U.S. citizenship will no longer be able to leave Ukraine. And we have some major breaking news coming from the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. He said that French military instructors in Ukraine would be legitimate targets for Russian attacks. Okay, so he said this today. He said, as for the French instructors, I think they are already on the Ukrainian territory, Lavrov said during a press conference alongside Congo's Foreign Minister Jean-Claude Gakoso. Regardless of their status, military officials or mercenaries represent a legitimate target for our armed forces, okay? So that is very, very serious, guys, okay? So now Russia is going to start striking French troops in Ukraine. You see how this can escalate? You see what's happening here? It's only going to escalate. It's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse and worse, guys, okay? There's not going to be any miracle peace deal. There's not going to be any miracle end of this war. It's only going to get worse and worse, okay? The escalation is going to continue. So you have to continue to prepare yourself and your family, okay? We're also hearing that 11 mice in New Mexico have tested positive for the H5N1 bird flu. According to the USDA, this is the first time that mice have been infected with the bird flu outside of laboratory experiments. Okay, so this is in New Mexico, the state of New Mexico in the United States, in America. 11 mice tested positive for the bird flu. Okay, these are just standard, house mice. Okay, these were not any kind of lab mice or anything, just normal mice that were in people's homes. All right. So very concerning. And here in the U.S., we had a unusual cell phone outage earlier today. It appears that cell phones are now working again, but there was a big cell phone outage across the entire U.S. AT&T and Verizon reported major outages for some reason, and it was so bad that the FCC had to actually put out a statement about it, saying that they weren't sure what the cause of it was. Okay, but it sounds to me like we were under some kind of a cyber attack and the government just didn't want to admit it, because why would all cell phones just suddenly go down at the same time, unless that this was maybe some kind of government experiment of shutting down cell phone, frequencies or something, like a kill switch, because the government does have kill switches. They have an internet kill switch, they have an electrical kill switch, and I'm sure they have cell phone kill switches where they just push a button and shut everything down. So either they were testing a kill switch for our cell phone networks, or this was some kind of big cyber attack. I'm 50-50 on that. I don't know what to believe, but this was very, very serious. Someone said their cell phone was fine in Tennessee. Yeah, mine was fine here in rural Pennsylvania. I didn't have any issues with my phone, but I live in a very low population area. But I think a lot of the big populated dense areas like East Coast, West Coast had major issues. But fine there in Jersey Shore. Okay. Cell phone was working fine. Ross, okay. What's going on, Tanya? So something weird was going on with the cell phones. There was also massive airstrikes on southern Lebanon today. The Israeli Air Force launched massive airstrikes on southern Lebanon, striking several Hezbollah positions near the border with Israel. Apparently the strikes were so intense that houses in the city of Kiryat Shimona in northern Israel were shaking from the strikes, okay? And apparently there was a massive amount of drone reconnaissance over Naqoura and Tyre, south of the Litani River in southern Lebanon. And we're hearing from local sources in Lebanon that Israeli warplanes hit 6 regions in Lebanon. Now, what's interesting is late last night, we sent 2 B-52s to Lebanon, okay? And that happened literally just a few hours after Hezbollah launched this massive rocket strike on northern Israel, and it caused a bunch of brush fires and wildfires. And so literally right after the strike by Hezbollah in northern Israel, just a few hours later, we send 2 B-52s from the UK to the border of Lebanon. And then today, Israeli warplanes just pound the crap out of southern Lebanon just in the last couple of hours. So pretty concerning. Let me just see if I can get a screenshot of those B-52s. One moment here from earlier. So there's the screenshot of the 2 B-52s that flew all the way to Lebanon late last night and early this morning. This is just absolutely insane. So a lot of stuff going on in Israel. Very, very serious. Okay, very serious. And then here we have these VIP planes that are heading out to Europe tonight. You can see... looks like 4 U.S. Air Force VIP planes going to Europe, or at least over the Atlantic. We have 2 C-32A planes and then a C-40 Clipper. So these are all VIP planes for the U.S. Air Force, and I don't think there's any scheduled meetings or anything, so I don't know if this is related to like the NATO exercises or what, but this is pretty concerning to have this many going over the pond. Mayhem says having trouble with it in Wyoming. Papa G, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Papa G says hit the like button. It helps out the channel. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button, guys. If you like the video, if you like the stream, hit the thumbs up button. Yeah, B-52s are stationed in the UK. They did move a few B-52s to Europe a few days ago. So this could be part of that. It could be something separate. We don't know. We know that about 2 weeks ago, a B-52 flew into the Suwalki Gap between Poland and Belarus. I don't think they've ever done that before. Okay, B-52s are nuclear bombers, guys. These are part of our nuclear triad. Okay, they can carry 20 long-range cruise missiles that can each carry a warhead of 300 kilotons or 200 kilotons, okay? The W-80 warhead, each missile, and they have 20 per B-52. Now, I don't know if these B-52s were armed with, the strategic nuclear weapons, but, they're a very, very capable weapon. They flew all the way to Lebanon, turned around, and came back. Very, very serious, guys. So let me just continue here with some more of the breaking news. So the chief of the Israeli General Staff, Herzi Halevi, stated earlier that Israel is now approaching a decision point along the northern front. And informed sources told the Israeli Broadcasting Authority today that the possibility of reaching an agreement with Lebanon is extremely small. So it looks like Israel's going to go into Lebanon, guys. And I don't know if they're going to do it before they go into Rafah or after they go into Rafah. But it does look like they're going to go into Rafah. They're going to go into Hezbollah, into Lebanon and deal with Hezbollah. Especially after these attacks over the weekend, the rocket strikes where Hezbollah launched all those rockets, caused, massive brush fires. It took like over 30 fire companies in Israel to put out the fires. I mean, that's insane, guys. Israel's not going to allow that because they had to evacuate like thousands and thousands of people from northern Israel. That people permanently left northern Israel because the area is just, you can't live there. There's too many rocket strikes all the time. So it's just a matter of time before Israel goes into Lebanon. The question is, when are they going to do it? Is it going to be after Rafah or before Rafah? We'll have to wait and see. But things are really escalating over there in Israel. And when Israel does go into either Rafah or Lebanon or both, I do expect massive escalation in the Middle East. Egypt has already threatened to attack Israel if they go into Rafah. They've already positioned troops in the Sinai Peninsula. They've put missile systems and tanks and all kinds of weapons in the Sinai Peninsula, which they're not supposed to do. They have a treaty with Israel. They're not supposed to put certain types of weapons in the Sinai. Well, now Egypt has started moving forces to the Sinai in case Israel goes into Rafah. So that could be an escalation there. That could even lead to a war between Egypt and Israel. Iran is producing weapons-grade uranium now. Okay, we had a report from the IAEA over the weekend. that Iran is now producing weapons-grade uranium, and they could literally produce a nuclear warhead within a week. Okay? So things are really spiraling out of control. And the IAEA put a update out about the situation in Ukraine with the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. We'll read that together soon here. Let me just go through some more of the headlines here. So the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill to sanction several members of the International Criminal Court for pursuing arrest warrants against a number of senior Israeli officials, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The bill was passed by a vote of 247 to 155, with 42 Democrats joining the Republicans. Wow, that is huge, guys. 42 Democrats siding with the Republicans, passing a bill to sanction members of the International Criminal Court for pursuing arrest warrants against a number of senior Israeli officials. That is huge news. What's going on, Z Cali, good to see you, and KFT, Aldo Schmedak, good to see you guys. So that's actually a pretty cool bill. I hope that it actually becomes a law. We'll have to wait and see. It might be unlikely that Biden would sign that. I don't think Biden would sign that bill. But I could be wrong. South Korea will be resuming artillery drills near the DMZ and the northwest border islands. The artillery drills will involve K9 self-propelled howitzers and are expected to take place as early as this month. This would be the first time in nearly 6 years that South Korea has done artillery drills near the DMZ. Okay, so this is huge news, guys. South Korea resuming artillery drills near the DMZ, and this comes right after North Korea sent thousands of balloons filled with feces into South Korea, okay, which is just totally crazy. And in case you missed my update earlier, the embassies of a number of European countries are conducting active consultations on the risks of Russia delivering retaliatory strikes against Europe if Ukraine strikes more of the Russian early warning radar systems. Okay, they've already taken out 3 of Russia's early warning radars, and that falls under the Russian nuclear war doctrine. They consider their early warning radars as part of their nuclear forces, and any attack on their nuclear forces could be met with a response, a nuclear response, okay? So, Cats Don't Care says North Korea fights dirty, literally. Yes, they do. That's funny. So, yeah, just absolutely insane. So, looks like European countries want Ukraine to strike more of Russia's early warning radars. And, last Friday, we had Dmitry Medvedev, the former president of Russia, basically say that Russia could use tactical nuclear missiles and that the Western countries underestimate Russia and are miscalculating about the possibility of Russia using tactical nukes on Ukraine or elsewhere. Russia has already put their tactical nukes on high alert, guys. They're still on high alert. As far as I know, Russia's tactical nukes are still on high alert and fully deployed, ready to use. And Medvedev said that the West miscalculated in thinking that Russia would never invade Ukraine, and he's saying now that the West thinks that Russia would never use tactical nukes, but they will. So very concerning statements from Medvedev. British Perspective, thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Wow, EM, thank you for that generous donation. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a good night. God bless you for what you do. Would you lead us in a short prayer? And may I ask anyone that wants to pray along, join us. God bless America and the world. Yes, I can do a short prayer. What I'll do is I'll do the prayer in a little bit. In a little while, I'll do the prayer. Thank you so much for the donation. I really, really appreciate that. It's very kind of you, and I hope you're having a good Tuesday night. Gary Richmond, thank you for gifting 20 memberships. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I hope you guys are enjoying the start of your summer. I know there's a lot of stuff going on and things are really crazy, but try to enjoy God's blessings, as much as possible. We know that France is going to be conducting a high-intensity exercise of their Air Force and Navy under the code name Ocean Hit 24 from June 19th to June 27th. And the British Navy is going to be deploying its warships to the Baltic Sea. So very interesting timing that we would have the British Navy and countries of NATO's Joint Expeditionary Force, which is like a naval coalition in NATO, are going to be sending all their warships to the Baltic Sea. And Britain is going to be doing the same thing, as well as France doing high-intensity exercises of their Air Force and Navy. I mean, it's not a coincidence, with everything going on in, Belarus, with all the equipment being moved into Belarus. Russia and Belarus just recently completed Air Force exercises. They did exercises together. So something is brewing in Belarus, something, sinister. So Ross Niderman says it's hard to keep up with everything. Yeah, it is very hard to keep up with everything. We did have some interesting nuclear attack options broadcasted earlier. Let me see if I can turn those EAMs back on. I had them turned off while I was reading off some of the news there. Let me turn the EAMs back on. But it looks like we're seeing escalation on all fronts. I mean, Asia, we had Chinese warplanes violate Japan's airspace yesterday, and Japan had to scramble their fighter jets. You didn't really hear the mainstream media talking about that too much, I bet. But, China violated Japan's airspace, so that's not good. China did that big exercise around Taiwan not too long ago. So, it looks like something could pop off in Asia now. We have North Korea and South Korea escalating. And then we have the Middle East, which is just ready to explode. And then we have Europe. Those are the three big fronts right now. Europe, Middle East, and Asia are the three war fronts. And, I think we're in the beginning of World War III. We just don't realize it, Just like how the U.S. and Western Europe didn't realize what was coming in 1938, right before Hitler invaded Poland. They thought that by giving Hitler a little bit of Czechoslovakia, that he wouldn't, attack anymore, but he ended up attacking Poland, and then he attacked France, and then he conquered all of Europe. So we could be at that stage right now. We could be like 1938 or 1939 right now. We could be at that stage. We thought that by giving, we had the Lend-Lease program in World War II, and we were giving all this equipment to our allies in Europe because we thought that by giving equipment we wouldn't have to fight ourselves. And sure enough, we ended up having to fight anyway. Okay, and I believe Normandy. When was Normandy? I think that's tomorrow, right? The anniversary of Normandy, D-Day. Is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow or was it? Yeah, it's tomorrow. So tomorrow is the anniversary of D-Day. I thought it was the 4th, but it looks like it's tomorrow. Okay, so and Putin was not invited to this year's anniversary. I don't think he was invited the last 2 years either. We just had some emergency action messages not too long ago, right before I started the stream. So AT&T put out a statement saying that their nationwide outage was resolved. They're saying that the interoperability issue between carriers has been resolved. We collaborated with the other carrier to find a solution and appreciate our customers' patience during this period. Looks like multiple cell phone companies. It says here Verizon's network was experiencing outages in the Northeast and in the Midwest. We have some interesting activity here off the coast of Baja California. Let me see if I can show you guys what we got going on right now. So we had this E-6 nuclear war command and control plane that was airborne, and it just landed. But look at all these planes here off of Baja California. This is interesting. Wow, there's actually a rivet joint down here. Look at that, guys. You don't really see rivet joints going down to this area too often. And remember, this is that area where they put out the NOTAM, and they said that Russian missiles were going to splash down into this area here. And now we have an RC-135 rivet joint, which is a ISR plane, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance plane, flying down towards Guadalupe Island, which is, by the way, loaded with great white sharks. The Discovery Channel filmed a bunch of Shark Week episodes here. Lots of great whites, so definitely don't want to go down in one of these planes and be stranded out there in this water. Wouldn't be a good time. Let me just check some other flights here while you guys are here. Look, another refueler heading down. Look at this, guys. I don't know if this is related to the Minuteman test or something. I have no idea. I don't know if this is related to the Minuteman test. Looks like another refueler heading down to this area. So, pretty interesting. Wow, more refuelers. Check this out. Got a ton of refuelers coming down here. It's pretty weird. We have a nuclear war command and control plane up in the air over Alabama right now. That's pretty interesting. So let me just share the footage of the Minuteman missile test. Let me share the footage of the Minuteman missile test. One moment here, guys. So here's the Minuteman test last night. It says here runtime 1 minute 13 seconds. Okay, this was on June the 4th, so this was last night sometime.
Air Force Global Strike Command Airmen conducted an operational test launch of an unarmed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile June 4th to demonstrate the readiness of the U.S. nuclear forces and provide confidence in the lethality and effectiveness of the nation's nuclear deterrent. Today's test launch used a randomly selected intercontinental ballistic missile pulled from F.E. Warren Air Force Base, Wyoming. The missile was transported more than 1,300 miles and reassembled at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. The ICBM was equipped with one test re-entry vehicle and traveled approximately 4,200 miles at a speed of more than 15,000 miles per hour to a test range near the Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands. The ICBM test and evaluation program helps validate the reliability the nuclear umbrella our allies and partners rely on, eliminating the need to obtain their own nuclear weapons to counter potential adversaries. The 50-year-old Minuteman III is based in Colorado, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wyoming, and will be replaced by the LGM-35A Sentinel. Reporting from Vandenberg Space Force Base, I'm Senior Airman Katie L. Shaw.
So pretty interesting. Just want to clear up some confusion in the chat about posting emojis. So a lot of the mods have been saying that you can't post more than 3 emojis. I just want to say I never actually created that rule myself. So I think 3 emojis is too little. I think we should raise that to like 20 emojis, 10 or 20. If somebody posts like more than 10 or 20 emojis, then, it's not acceptable. But I think 3 emojis is very little. This was a rule that I never actually personally created. I don't know who created that rule, but it wasn't me. It was one of the mods who created that rule without consulting me. So mods, please do not time people out if they post 3 emojis or more. That was a rule that I never actually created, and I think it's unreasonable. I mean, 3 emojis is like nothing, so please don't time people out for that. Maybe if somebody's like clearly spamming and they're posting like 20, 30, 40 emojis, something crazy, they're spamming the chat, then yeah, of course, but 5, 10 emojis, that's pretty normal, I think, and it doesn't bother me personally. So just wanted to clear that up. I'm not trying to throw any mods under the bus or anything. I respect all the mods, but I'm just saying I never actually created that rule. I don't know who created that rule, but it wasn't me. So, and I have nothing against anybody posting 5 or 10 emojis, but Samuel Turner, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. I look for China to join the fray at any day now. What do you think? I think China's going to join the fray for sure. I have no doubt that they're going to join the fray. I have no doubt about it. They're already going to help Russia with artillery and ammunition to fight against Ukraine, and that's going to be a big problem because China has a lot of resources. They have a lot of people. They have a lot of sweatshops. Sounds insensitive, but it's true. China has all these factories where they pay people pennies, and sweatshops. China has all the sweatshops, and that's why it's so cheap to produce things over there, and they can just turn on all their sweatshops and start producing millions of rounds of artillery now for Russia. So so they're definitely going to get involved. I don't know when exactly, though. I don't think they're going to get involved right away, because right now it's still good for China. China doesn't have any skin in the game, so they can just sit back and watch America and Russia destroy each other in Ukraine, and they can just sit back and, continue to grow and build their economy, build their nuclear forces, build their military. Just keep in mind that China does not have a large nuclear arsenal. So I think what China wants to do is China's going to wait until they build up their nuclear arsenal more. And then once they build their nuclear arsenal more, then they're going to start being more bold and aggressive. But I think right now they don't feel like they're ready to take on America just yet. So I think they're going to wait a little bit longer. But you never know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Anything can happen. Check this out. See this video here? You can see the booster from the missile coming off. You see that little piece there flying off? That's one of the boosters. You see it? So most ICBMs today have 3 stages. They have 3 rocket boosters to bring them up into their apex, and then at the apex is when they release the warhead or multiple warheads on the bus. They call it the bus, and then the warheads can steer themselves individually. But this is a pretty cool footage here. So it looks like they fired this missile towards the Kwajalein Atoll, which is heavily irradiated by hundreds and hundreds of American nuclear weapons tests over the decades. But just to be clear, they didn't have a nuclear warhead on this thing. They had an inert simulator warhead. They only had one, which is pretty interesting. They only had one simulator warhead on it instead of 3. I thought that they would jump up to 3 now because Putin pulled out of the START treaty. So I thought maybe the U.S. was going to start up arming their Minutemans, but doesn't look like they're going to do that. probably because of the dumb Biden administration, who's anti-nuclear. I mean, Democrats in general are anti-nuclear weapons. So, Vanessa, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. That's very nice of you. I hope you're having a great Tuesday night. And Rosemary Fabian, thank you for gifting 20 memberships. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Mary Catherine, thank you for the donation. Our government is not working for us, but for the globalist beast system. Jesus is our only hope. I totally agree. Yeah, our government is definitely working for the beast system, the one world government. Absolutely. And I agree. Jesus is our only hope. Jesus Christ. Salt and Prepper says, I just started the Dark Winter series. Yeah, I'm going to be making more videos in the Dark Winter series. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming soon. What was the name of the system replacing the Minuteman? It's going to be called Sentinel. Sentinel is the new ICBM that's going to be replacing the Minuteman. As far as I know, there's not going to be any big improvements, really. I think they're just, they need a new missile because all the missiles they have are old. So it's just kind of, refreshing. I don't think there's going to be any huge change in capability, but I could be wrong. As far as our government, I mean, with the Biden administration in control, they're not going to be up-arming anything or doing anything bold, Don't expect that. But that's really what we should be doing. We should be up-arming our missiles now that Putin pulled out of the START treaty. Look what we have going on here, though, guys, off the coast of Baja California. This is pretty weird. We have this rivet joint and several aerial refuelers here. So that is pretty concerning, pretty weird. Not sure what to make of that. Something is definitely going on here. To have all these refuelers in this area. So I'm going to continue to monitor that. And Donald Trump's sentencing is going to be in the beginning of July. So, if you live in big cities, be prepared for civil unrest after that sentencing. If they put him into jail, it's going to be bad. I don't know if they're going to put him into jail or what they're going to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put him into jail. They definitely don't want him, running. Just going to read to you a little bit more details about this ICBM test launch. So this is coming from the Air Force website. They say here, our strikers and our nuclear mission are the bedrock of our nation's defense and international security, said General Thomas Bussier, Air Force Global Strike Command commander. As part of that mission, our ICBM force provides 24/7 strategic deterrence and stand ready to respond at a moment's notice as the most responsive leg of the nuclear triad, and our test launches demonstrate and confirm our readiness to deliver a safe, secure, effective, and credible global combat capability. The ICBM's re-entry vehicle traveled approximately 4,200 miles to the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command's Ronald Reagan Ballistic Missile Defense Test Site on the U.S. Army Garrison Kwajalein Atoll, the Republic of Marshall Islands. RTS sensors, including high-fidelity metric and signature radars, as well as optical sensors and telemetry. Support the research, development, test, and evaluation of America's defense and space programs. For these tests, RTS team members collect radar, optical, and telemetry data in the terminal phase of flight to evaluate system performance. Says here, airmen from all 3 missile wings were selected for the task force to support the test launch, and maintainers from the 90th Missile Wing at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming provided maintenance support. The missile bases within Air Force Global Strike Command have crew members standing alert 24/7. So, pretty interesting. So, yeah, it's the LG-35A Sentinel is going to be replacing the Minuteman III starting 2029, and full capability is expected to be achieved in mid-2030. So, I don't know too much about the Sentinel. There's not a whole lot of info about it. But that's going to be the new missile to replace the Minuteman. Missile alert for all of Ukraine. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Ross. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Someone said missile alert here. Let me check and see the map. Oh, yeah, there is a missile alert for all of Ukraine right now, so I'll keep an eye out on that and see where these missiles end up hitting. Yeah, so here's the missile map. We'll have to wait and see. Sometimes Ukraine issues these missile alerts, and then shortly after they cancel them, depending on their intelligence. Sometimes, things change, and so I'll definitely be monitoring it and update you guys on that. Wanted to just read to you guys an update here from the IAEA about Zaporizhia. That's the giant nuclear power plant in Ukraine. So this was posted on May 30th, just a few days ago. Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi met with senior Russian officials this week as part of the continuing efforts of the IAEA to help prevent a nuclear accident at Ukraine's Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. During Tuesday's meeting in Kaliningrad with Alexei Likachev, head of Russia's state nuclear company Rosatom, Director General Grossi again raised those factors that the IAEA believes remain a real challenge for nuclear safety. Specifically, these include the vulnerability of the ZNPP's off-site power supply lines, its need for reliable water supplies to ensure reactor cooling and other essential functions, and the situation related to staffing and equipment maintenance. So it's very interesting. They met in Kaliningrad. That's pretty interesting. But basically, the head of the IAEA is concerned about the off-site power lines, the water supply for cooling, and the staffing and equipment maintenance. As Director General Grossi has repeatedly stressed, the IAEA must engage with both Ukraine and the Russian Federation on matters related to nuclear safety and security, which remains precarious, especially at the ZNPP. The Zaporizhia nuclear power plant is continuing to face serious nuclear safety and security risks. We can't afford to let our guard down for a single minute, Director General Grossi said after the meeting in the Russian city. In view of these challenging and unprecedented circumstances with Europe's largest nuclear power plant located in a war zone, there is an understanding that its 6 reactors could remain in cold shutdown for the time being. Even with all 6 reactors in cold shutdown, plant safety and security remain extremely fragile. Any decision to restart the ZNPP's reactors in the future when it is safe to do so must be preceded by a very careful and detailed examination of all operational and regulatory aspects relevant for nuclear safety and security to ensure that the plant is not further put in jeopardy, he said. On the ground at the ZNPP, the IAEA experts stationed at the site have continued to hear explosions on most days over the past week, normally at distances far away from the plant. However, on Sunday, the team was awakened by 4 explosions near the site. The ZNPP informed the team that there was no damage to the plant. Also this week, the IAEA experts have conducted regular walkdowns to monitor nuclear safety and security, including ongoing and planned maintenance activities on parts of the safety system, such as the emergency core cooling system of the Unit 1 reactor and on the main electrical transformer of Unit 2. The IAEA team visited the ZNPP's maintenance workshop, where they were told that all machines are in operational condition and able to perform necessary maintenance tasks. During a visit to the reactor building and safety systems rooms of Unit 4, the IAEA experts observed equipment including steam generators and the main cooling pumps. They noted that generally the housekeeping was good, but they did observe some oil on the floor of the reactor hall coming from the overhead cranes, as well as boron deposits on the floors of some of the safety system rooms, which is not uncommon for such facilities. The ZNPP confirmed these would be addressed through cleaning and maintenance. Over the past week, the IAEA team also observed the successful performance of routine testing of emergency diesel generators on Units 4 and 6. So they tested the diesel generators on 2 of the reactors. The experts visited 4 levels of the turbine building of Unit 5, where they observed the status of different types of equipment, including the main feed water pumps, main steam valves, and the main condenser, but once again were denied access to the western side of the building. So very weird. Russia keeps denying the inspectors access to certain parts of the turbine halls. Okay, so this was Unit 5, the western side of Unit 5. They were denied access. Why is that? I wonder what they have over there that they're denying access. Yeah, maybe it's leaking, right? It could be leaking. That's a good point, Tiffany. The IAEA experts also met with the site's chemistry control division, where they were informed of the technological process used for water treatment, and were also told that all necessary consumables and chemical reagents have been supplied from the Russian Federation. The team was further informed that the division has sufficient staff, including personnel that have come from Russian nuclear power plants. So Russia's bringing in experts from their nuclear power plants, it looks like now. So looks like the air raid alert has been canceled in Ukraine. The air raid alert has been canceled, so no more air raid alert. While visiting the ZNPP's thermal mechanical warehouse, the IAEA team saw its diesel generator spare parts and electrical equipment. The team observed spare parts from various manufacturers, including from Western suppliers before the conflict, as well as some from the Russian Federation. The ZNPP informed the team that it had completed its transition to a Russian-based spare parts and equipment database. So they're starting to use Russian parts now at this power plant. And the IAEA experts also went to temporary shelters. Hold on. The IAEA experts went to the temporary shelters located inside each reactor building, which were established by the ZNPP in 2022 due to the unavailability of the original shelters. The team was informed that up to 1,000 people can be sheltered on site in these temporary shelters. As the summer approaches, the warmer temperatures and drier climate have contributed to wildfires in the areas around the ZNPP. Late last week, the IAEA experts could both see and smell smoke from what the ZNPP said was a forest fire on the other side of the Dnipro River. On Tuesday, the IAEA team saw a wildfire south of the 750 kilovolt open switch yard, but it appeared to have been extinguished later in the week and did not cause any damage to electrical systems. Elsewhere in Ukraine, the IAEA experts present at the Khmelnytsky, Rivne, and South Ukraine nuclear power plants and Chernobyl reported that nuclear safety and security is being maintained despite the effects of the ongoing conflict. So, pretty interesting news there from the nuclear power plant in Ukraine. They say here over the past week, 2 reactor units at the Rivne nuclear power plant successfully restarted after planned outages for refueling and maintenance. The Rivne power plant now has 3 units in full power operation, while the 4th reactor is being prepared for shutdown for planned refueling and maintenance. So Ukraine still has several nuclear power plants that they operate. It's not just that one. I mean, they have, I think, three other ones. Yeah, Khmelnytsky, Rivne, and South Ukraine. So the air raid alert was canceled for Ukraine. I told you guys that it would be canceled, didn't I say? I told you that would happen. I've been following Ukraine for so long, I know. Sellafield nuclear power plant in UK is leaking. Oh, wow. Interesting. I didn't know that. In Finland, they recently had an issue with one of their nuclear power plants in one part of Finland. Rosemary Fabian, thank you for the donation. Jesus is the only way to heaven. Amen. I totally agree. Totally agree. B1 is up doing laps at Dias Air Force Base and Doomsday plane on the ground. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Look at all these refuelers, guys. We got more refuelers taking off and heading down to this area here. This is really strange. Look, we now have 1, 2, 3 more aerial refuelers going south. Wow, that is very strange. Not sure what to make of that. There's so many I can't even fit them on my tracker here. But more aerial refuelers now going down to the Baja California area. I mean, that's like probably 8 or 9 refuelers. You know, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there was like 2 more that just went off the flight tracker. So this is really weird. I don't know what's going on right now. That is just very strange. Amy Sturdivant, thank you for gifting a membership. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good Tuesday night. A Doomsday plane. I don't see any doomsday planes near Indiana. I don't see one. I see a VIP plane here. U.S. Air Force VIP plane flying over Illinois, but I don't see a doomsday plane anywhere. Tiffany says something will happen when you least expect it. Exactly. That's exactly right. SHTF happens when you don't expect it. Oh, looks like I didn't switch the, sorry about that. I had the air raid alert thing the whole time. Sorry about that. I thought I had it switched over. One sec. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so look at all these aerial refuelers here. This is insane. And then the RC-135 went down here. It went off the flight tracker by the Guadalupe Island. One of the RC-135 went off the flight tracker. But look at this, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aerial refuelers going down here. That's not normal. Okay, and we have a U.S. Air Force VIP plane. Looks like it's going back to D.C. possibly. It looks like it might have stopped at Colorado Springs. Check that out. That's where they have a doomsday bunker. In Cheyenne Mountain. Who will run the Russian International Space Station module? As far as I know, the International Space Station has not been affected yet, so there's still Russians there. I don't see a doomsday plane anywhere, but you know, maybe there is something, I don't know. And I don't see a B-1 anywhere either. Let me see. I don't see a B-1. Someone said there was a B-1. I don't see it. Oh, the doomsday plane took off from Singapore. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. That makes sense now. Yeah, that's Lloyd Austin's plane coming back. That's Lloyd Austin coming back from Singapore. They had a huge meeting over there with the Chinese defense minister, and I think even the Ukrainians were there as well. I think Zelensky went there. So there was some big meeting there in Singapore. Kumquat Singleton, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. Another donation. Thank you so much, bro. Hope you're having a good Tuesday night. Thank you very much. Very nice of you. Thank you, Rodney Middleton, for sharing out the virtual shield. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, look at all these planes here. This is crazy. Look. Actually, it's more than... Yeah, look at this, guys. Wow, we also have KC-46 Pegasus planes here, too. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 refuelers now going down to this area here, and this is where the RC-135 went. So very serious, guys. Very strange. They must be refueling planes with transponders off. Yeah, correct. They're probably they're either refueling planes with transponders off, or they're gonna go and refuel planes out here somewhere. But this is insane. Look at this, guys. This is ridiculous. I've never seen that before. Actually, this is the first time I've ever seen that. You know, it's probably a total of 10 refuelers went down here just in the last hour or two. So something weird is going on. Thank you, Kinkoi, for moderating. I appreciate it. Thanks to all the moderators. Appreciate you guys. Wow, this is crazy. Let me just check. Yeah, so Ukraine is no longer under an air raid. The air raid was canceled. Yeah, this is just insane. All those refuelers, just very strange. So far, the EAMs are quiet. I have them on right now, and so far they're quiet. So it looks like things are about to pop off very, very soon, guys. Any day, we could see just massive escalation in Europe and in the Middle East. It looks like things are starting to really pick up in the Middle East again with the situation with Hezbollah. Let me just check some other frequencies here and see if there's any anything interesting going on here. See if the Cubans are not transmitting any spy messages. That's the French Navy transmitting encrypted data. So NATO is, or the French Navy is transmitting encrypted messages for some reason. Thank you, Salt and Prepper. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, Amy, thank you for that information. That's very interesting. Yeah, Pegasus up north of Wichita. Yeah, which is pretty weird. Yeah, I can say a quick prayer. People have been asking me to say a prayer, so I'll say a quick prayer. So here we go. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God, please watch over everybody in this chat. Please keep everybody healthy, including the moderators, healthy in mind and body. And please, God, protect America and all of America's allies. Please protect the people of Ukraine, the people of Israel, and all different places around the world that are suffering from war and persecution. Thank you, God, for all the blessings in our lives. Thank you for giving us food every day. Amen. I'm going to just say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No word from Culinary. I haven't heard from Culinary in a while. I think Culinary is just waiting for the right moment. You know, they save him for the real situations. That's when Culinary gets brought in, is when things really get crazy. He must be an experienced operator. They probably bring him in when things are getting really crazy, because he had a really calm head that night. But look at all these refuelers. This is pretty weird. Not sure what to make of that. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of people saying that, oh, it's nothing. You know, this is normal. It's normal for there to be 12 aerial refuelers off the coast of Baja California. It's normal. It's an exercise, I'm sure. Culinary was a radio operator about a month or maybe a month and a half now. It was sometime, I think when was it, April? We had this one crazy night where nuclear attack options were being broadcasted like all night long, and they were the high priority nuclear attack options, Sky Master messages, which are the highest priority nuclear attack options. And we thought for sure that the U.S. was getting ready to launch missiles on on Iran. This was when Israel was about to strike back at Iran, when Iran launched all the missiles at Israel, and we were just waiting for Israel to strike back, and everybody thought Israel was going to go for their nuclear facilities. Well, that week, there were actually two, officially the mainstream media said that there were actually two strikes that Israel aborted that were very large strikes, and they ended up aborting them at the last minute. And then I think it was a Wednesday night. You can still watch the stream. The stream is still up on my channel. You can go into my live streams and it's still up. But it was that week when everybody was waiting for Israel, and they thought that Israel was going to, do something crazy like, annihilate their nuclear facilities. And we were listening one night to the nuclear attack options being broadcasted, and they were broadcasting arming codes for the bombers. The bombers were broadcasting arming codes, and there were also bombers, aerial refuelers that were flying off the coast of the UK, which means that we had bombers off the coast of Portugal here somewhere that night. So we thought for sure that the U.S. was getting ready to launch missiles at Iran, and it's very possible that they were, and then they aborted at the last minute, or maybe it was a show of force and they wanted to scare Iran. Oh, look, we have a doomsday plane over Ireland right now. Check this out. That's pretty interesting. Mary says, I used to say the pledge and the Lord's Prayer in school as a child. It's weird, I remembered every word of the pledge. Yeah, I used to say the Pledge of Allegiance every day in school too. Yes, and there was a woman in the background screaming. Yes, exactly. And so during that, there was a couple of weird things that happened. So, right, there was like a woman in the background screaming, and then like there was also, you could actually hear, like in the background, you can hear the klaxon alarms. Those are the alarms when the bomb bay doors open on a B-52 and they're getting ready to launch. You can hear the sirens, in the background. And we could hear those sirens, like when they open the bomb doors, the klaxon alarm. We could hear those in the transmissions when they were transmitting the nuclear launch codes. And for all we know, the U.S. was about to launch a massive strike on Iran, and then at the last minute they backed down for some reason. But so Culinary was one of the radio operators. He took over later on. Later on at night, he took over, and he was like a very calm, level-headed guy. For the seriousness of the situation, he was almost kind of like too happy, like almost like too excited, like he loved his job too much. And that's why we always say Culinary here, because we remember that night and Culinary's attitude, his spirit, as serious as the situation was, Culinary maintained positive mindset throughout the whole thing. Paleo Greenbird, thank you for the donation. I'm going to send you a Culinary t-shirt. Is there an address on your website that is best to use, and what size? I sent you an email, but it might have ended up in your spam. Okay. Maybe if you could bump up that email, just like reply to the email and bump it up in my inbox, and I'll check it in a little bit. It probably got lost somehow. Thank you for the t-shirt. That is really cool that you made a t-shirt. That's amazing. Cats Don't Care says he was ready to get it on war mode. Daniel says there's a Cobra Ball over Orlando right now. Interesting. We have these VIP planes heading over. So yeah, it looks like something's going on. If we have a Doomsday plane and VIP planes, I wonder if there's that meeting, the NATO ministers meeting, and they're going over there for the NATO meeting. They have that like every month. But I thought Lloyd Austin was still in Singapore. Yeah, this is weird. So we got Lloyd Austin just left Singapore, so I don't see how he would suddenly go over to Europe right now. So that must be someone else. Maybe it's it could be that Ukraine Peace Summit in Switzerland. Yeah, I think they're going to have that peace summit. Thank you again, Paleo Greenbird, for making the t-shirts. That's really cool. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Switzerland, Ukraine Peace Summit. When is that happening? When is that supposed to happen? Kamala Harris will represent the U.S. at the Ukraine Peace Summit. When is that happening? Doesn't give a date here. Just says this month. I wonder if that peace summit is going to happen now. June 15th and June 16th is the Switzerland Peace Summit on Ukraine. So I don't think this is related to that. And I don't think it's Lloyd Austin either, because Lloyd Austin just, he's on his way back from Singapore now. So this must be Biden. I mean, this must be Biden. Maybe he's making a surprise visit to Ukraine or something. And then you got these VIP planes here. This is pretty interesting. I'm not sure what to make of that. That's pretty weird. We also have Forte 12 here in the Black Sea. Check that out. Forte 12. Look at this. Looks like Ukraine is going to strike Crimea again, probably in the coming hours, probably tomorrow or today, later today, if they're doing these patterns here. They're gathering targeting information for Ukraine. We got Jake 17 here about to do it around, probably in Kaliningrad. Around Kaliningrad. This is interesting. We have an aerial refueler from Fairchild going over also, probably to support the Doomsday. But yeah, this is pretty weird. I have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. Looks like we got a sub hunter. No, not a sub hunter. Yeah, this is pretty strange. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, look at all these refuelers going down here into the Baja area. Very interesting. Oh yeah, there's a Cobra Ball here. It's a missile detector plane flying around Cape Canaveral. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty unusual. Yeah, Culinary was the man. Culinary is like Bruce Willis. Yeah, Culinary was the man, for sure. Vanessa says Australian military AWACS up with those refuelers. Interesting. I didn't see that. That's pretty interesting. Mayhem says, who caught the random mice and thought to have them randomly tested for bird flu? That's so off. Yeah, it's really strange. I totally agree. It doesn't make any sense. I agree. Cobra balls are special planes used to detect missiles. So it could be related to the missile test, but why would they have it on the East Coast unless they're testing something off the East Coast? Or they're calibrating the sensors or something, I don't know. Or maybe they're launching something out of Cape Canaveral and they need the Cobra Ball to support it, to track the rocket. me see that AWACS, Australian AWACS. Where is that thing? I don't see it anywhere. Let me see. I don't see that Australian AWACS plane, but maybe I missed it. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate it. So yeah, we got all these aerial refuelers going down here, and RC-135 rivet joint went down, and now we have this Doomsday plane going over to Europe, and we also have a Cobra Ball off of Florida, which is pretty weird. Very strange. Thank you, Tiffany Hartman. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. They all turned their transponders off when they got near the island. Yeah, they turned their transponders off or they're out of reception. One of those two. But, I mean, probably about... There's already like half a dozen refuelers that went down here. And we have more lined up going down. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 lined up to go down there. So, and the rivet joint also went there too. So, I don't know. It's very weird. And now we have this Cobra Ball. Look, the Cobra Ball is doing loops right around Cape Canaveral. Maybe this is related to some kind of rocket launch. I'm guessing maybe a Falcon 9 or something. Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, tomorrow is the D-Day anniversary. Tomorrow's the D-Day anniversary. So, you know, just say a prayer for our men and women in uniform tomorrow. Think about all the sacrifices that have been made, especially on D-Day, you know, the beaches of Normandy and all the different beaches there. Yes, I know. D-Day anniversary is June 6th. I just said it. Yep, tomorrow. Tiffany Hartman says, God bless everyone and God bless America. Correct. D-Day is on Thursday. Yep. Correct. Yep. That's right. I can't believe it's already officially Wednesday, but according to the clock, but according to the days, we're still in, it's still nighttime, so it's still technically Tuesday, according to God's clock. You know, we're still in Tuesday because it's nighttime now. Next day doesn't start until the sun comes up, so it's still Tuesday in my opinion. That's just how I've always looked at it. But this is interesting. Let's see where this Doomsday plane goes. Looks like it's heading for Germany. Could be some kind of a surprise visit by Biden. Maybe he's going to Ukraine or something. Surprise visit to Ukraine. But I know for sure it's not Lloyd Austin, because Lloyd Austin just left Singapore like a couple hours ago, and it's not the Switzerland Peace Summit because that's in 2 weeks. So I wonder what's going on here. This is pretty weird. We'll just keep monitoring it. My guess is this Cobra Ball is potentially monitoring some kind of rocket launch. That's probably why it's looping around Cape Canaveral. They're probably using it to monitor the rocket launch and track the trajectory and all that. Let's see if there's any Janet flights tonight. Looks like we have a Janet flight. No, we don't. No Janet flights. Janet flights are the flights that take Area 51 employees from Las Vegas to the base, but none tonight. None yet, at least. Just going to check and see some other headlines here. One minute, guys. Hold on. Noel Jordan says June 5th, NASA's Boeing Starliner crewed flight test. It says 10:52 a.m., so that could be it. Yeah, it could be that Starliner, Boeing Starliner. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Let me see here. Yeah. Yeah, they have live coverage of it now. Yep. Yeah, so it's because of the Starliner. Launch teams are hoping that the third time will be the charm for the first crewed flight of Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. Its most recent launch attempt came within minutes of sending Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams on their way to the ISS, but was tripped up at the finish line when one of 3 redundant computers ran into trouble. So, wow. So this is some kind of a spacecraft that is going to go up to the ISS. New spacecraft. The Boeing Starliner. So that's why the Cobra Ball is up over there. Thanks for the information on that. Great catch, by the way. Great catch on that. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. We'll see how that turns out. Wonder where that doomsday plane is going to land. It's pretty weird. Sign of the Times. Thank you for the kind comments. God bless you, Greg, and your family. Thank you so much for all the hard work you do to keep us all informed. Your channel is the best channel on YouTube. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I don't think it's the best channel, but I'm glad you think it's the best channel. Thank you. Oh yeah, Vanessa, thanks for sharing that. Vanessa just shared the culinary stream. If you guys want to rewatch it, you want to rewatch that whole night, I have it up. You can rewatch it. There were some people that tried to attack me after that stream. And then there were some people that came to my help, like Steve Quayle backed me up on on the culinary night. Steve Quayle and also Mike from around the world talked about me on Paul Begley. Cazetta, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Cazetta. I'm gonna see if I can play Paul Begley here. I was mentioned on Mike from around the world. I think it was on Paul Begley channel. He mentioned me. I'll play Steve Quayle, what Steve Quayle said about me. Steve Quayle is a legend, guys. I mean, it's so surreal to see guys like Steve Quayle calling me out in a positive way and sharing me out. So this is Steve Quayle. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of him. I'm sure you probably have. He used to go on Coast to Coast AM a lot back in the day. He still goes on, I think. But here's Steve Quayle backing me up on the culinary night.
So much going on that it's always sorting what's the most important. I want to talk about, at the first part of the show, the Iran, Israeli, U.S., and everybody else at war, especially Russia, and where we're at right now in the game. And I want to give kudos to Greg at NYPrepper. I want you, if you would, Eric, to put up that screen on emergency action messages and Sky Master and Sky King messages. I've seen some stupid ass postings of people saying, oh, this is just an exercise. So I went on and I reached out to somebody who knows this stuff.
So here he is backing me up because people were saying it was just an exercise. So let's listen to what he had to say. He's very smart. He's a smart man.
And Sky King messages. I've seen some stupid ass postings of people saying that war, especially Russia, and where we're at right now in the game. And I want to give kudos to Greg at NYPrepper. I want you, if you would, Eric, to put up that screen on emergency action messages and Sky Master and Sky King messages. I've seen some stupid ass postings of people saying, oh, this is just an exercise. So I went on and I reached out to somebody who knows this stuff and really knows it because he was in that world. And he said this, okay? So understand, Greg, NYPrepper, has been doing a great job of not only tracking the tankers that refuel the U.S. and NATO aircraft for whatever war they're going to fight, but he's making the differentiation, and rightly so, between Sky Master messages and Sky King messages. Now, why this is critical?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to have someone like Steve Quayle shout me out and talk about me this way. It's surreal. I'm very thankful. No, I haven't reached out to Steve Quayle. I'm gonna try to reach out to him. I reached out to him once before to thank him, but I'm gonna reach out to him again. I just didn't really want to bother him. I know he's a busy guy, but I'm gonna reach out to him and send him a thank you message. Because he's the man. Hugo says, Greg, you were mentioned on another stream tonight regarding the B-52s earlier today. I guess you caught those on tracker when others didn't. Great job. Yeah, I'm always watching the flight tracker. But yeah, Steph, I'm going to reach out to Steve.
At no time in...
And yes, Timothy, Iran had no idea how lucky they were.
...an exercise are the targeting coordinates and the arming coordinates given at the same time, actually arming signals or codes. So what we're telling everyone right now at the start of the show, whether you believe it's World War III time or not, it doesn't matter. I think when your mouth is filled with molten tongue and your eyeballs are liquefied in your sockets, you'll get it. I'm sorry, then it's too late. The Sky Master messages are used to reload new target data into the missiles and set them to the arm mode. Number 2, Sky King messages are the launch instructions for silo missiles, submarine launched missiles, and the Go Cord but go safe points in the sky. A fail point in the sky is.
Steph says he will take his time for you. Steve is busy, but he cares. Okay, Steph, that's good to know. I'm definitely going to reach out to him. Thank you for letting me know. Mike from around the world is a special guest in the Paul Begley broadcast, and he definitely backed the EAMs you mentioned on Culinary Night. Fartsy Floxy says, you're a legend, Greg. Oh, thank you. I don't think I'm a legend. Maybe eventually, hopefully one day. Yeah, I've been a fan of Steve Quayle for years. He's very smart. He's got a lot of interesting stuff that he does. He's definitely a legend for sure. Let me continue here.
Is once they leave that, it's game on. The constant flow of messages, and again, NYPrepper's done a wonderful job of this. The constant flow of messages tells me, this is from somebody that knows this stuff, there is something being brought to launch status and holding. Now, here's boys and girls, and this is really important. When I started in Podcastville, actually not podcast, but talk radio, I broke the story in the year 2000 about Iran exploding a nuclear weapon detonation in the desert in their own country. That stayed up for 3 hours, and it was sanitized. One of my friends who's retired from a certain agency said, Steve, he said, I got a lot of accesses, but he said, that is like it never existed. So what is like it's never existed is that Iran has had for the last pretty much quarter of a century one of the most sophisticated nuclear weapons development programs in the world. Now, here's what I want everyone to understand. These are not my numbers. These are numbers provided.
So he says that Iran currently has 1,500 Generation 2 hypersonic missiles ready to launch, 600 Generation 3 hypersonic missiles ready to launch, and they have 6 Generation 4 hypersonic missiles with 25 megaton warheads ready to launch. I think he's right about that because there's just so many of these bunkers in Iran, all these different missile bunkers. I showed you guys them on Google Earth, all the different missile bunkers everywhere. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Iran had all these missiles plus the warheads too. Thank you for the donation, Vanessa. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for gifting 10 memberships. You're awesome. I got to support my good friend Greg. Thank you, Vanessa. I really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Do I agree that this is the highest watch time ever for Rapture? If Rapture doesn't happen this year, there are a lot of things that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so much going on. So yeah, we're definitely, we could be on the verge of a rapture. Absolutely. I don't really get too into the rapture, when it's going to happen and stuff like that. I don't really like to focus on that too much. Because I feel it kind of takes away from, being a Christian, being a good Christian. If you obsess over, when the rapture is going to be, you kind of lose track of what's most important, which is being a follower of Christ and not so much trying to figure out when the rapture is and when, the end times are and who the Antichrist is and who the false prophet is. Is it Trump? Is it Biden? Is it Obama? Is it Putin? You could, is it Jared Kushner? You could spend so much time trying to figure this out. And at the end of the day, it's not going to really bring you any closer to God, But it's definitely interesting to think about. But yeah, we could be on the verge of a rapture for sure. We could be. I don't think the tribulation period yet started. The tribulation period, I don't think it started yet, in my opinion. But it's possible it could have when Trump signed that treaty with Israel. That was like during the COVID, right? I think it was right after COVID, after the first lockdown. I think Trump signed that treaty with Netanyahu, the Abraham Accords. It's possible that the Abraham Accords were the covenant with many. It's possible, but we still don't have the third temple yet, and the Antichrist, as far as we know, is not on the scene. So Fartsy Floxy says, could you get any more lovable? That's funny. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. Shouldn't care who the Antichrist is because we won't be here to find out. We'll be in heaven. I think we're at the birth pain stage. Yeah, I mean, we don't really know exactly when all of this is going to happen, so... How's it going, Tiffany? Hope you're doing well and have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. E6 Mercury over Little Rock. Yeah, I saw that. Looks like the Doomsday plane is landing in Britain. This is pretty unusual, guys. I don't know. What do you think about this? Who do you think could be on that plane? And then we have all the VIPs going over there too. So I don't think it's Lloyd Austin, because Lloyd Austin just left Singapore. I doubt he would suddenly go to Europe now. And it's not, unless it's Biden. The only other person that would be on an E4 would be Biden. Maybe he's making a visit to Europe for some reason. Do I think Putin is going to hit Britain? Very possible, yeah. Britain would be a large target. The biggest target in Britain would be Fastlane, Scotland. That's where they have the British have their nuclear armed subs in Fastlane. Right over here. Fastlane. This is where you can actually see some of them right here. This is where Britain keeps their nuclear armed subs, their Vanguard class subs, at this base. So this would be a target. They would hit this whole thing. Look, here's another one. There's a covered building here for maintenance. They pull them into these buildings and do maintenance in the buildings. Look at that thing. Kamala and Tapper are going to the D-Day Memorial. Ah, okay. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, because of D-Day. Right. Yeah, that makes sense now. That makes sense. Yeah, they're going to the D-Day Memorial. I was going to see if I can play Mike from Around the World. I have a clip of him backing me up also. There was one guy who trashed me. Some of you guys may know who he is, Texas News Studio. He trashed me about that night, saying that I was lying to make views, which is unfortunate because I used to watch him and support him. He came out and attacked me for that. Not cool. Good night, Kathy Kirk. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for all your support. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you next time. Yeah, Texas News Studio. He lashed out and said all kinds of nasty things about me. I've never ever said anything negative about him ever. I actually used to watch him a lot, and that was like a real surprise to see. I have a clip of it. I have a clip of he posted it to his Rumble channel. I saved the clip. Blazing Press. Daniel says, "Mod me, bro. I'll cover your 6." Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. I'll have to consult with the other moderators first before I add a new moderator. Yeah, a lot of people come after me for some reason. Anytime I have a video that does well, that's popular, I always get nasty comments from people that I've actually been friends with and shouted out, stabbing me in the back, attacking me. I mean, yeah, it's really unfortunate, but it sucks because now I really don't want to associate with other people because of that. Other people on YouTube, I don't associate with people now because I've been attacked so much by people that I've actually were my so-called friends that I've helped and shouted out, and then they stab me in the back and attack me simply because I had a popular video. That's crazy. It's not how I was raised, I was not raised that way. We have a Russian Doomsday plane or VIP plane up in the air. Tupolev 214PU is flying over Western Russia. This is interesting. We have a Saudi Arabian looks like president plane or something flying up to Finland. This is weird. Saudi Arabia Presidency of State Security flying up to Helsinki. That's pretty interesting. It's not something you see every day. Saudi Arabian plane going to Finland. I don't know if that's one of the leaders of Saudi Arabia. It's flying through the Suwalki Gap now. Hopefully it doesn't get shot down. Yeah, here's the Russian Special Flight Squadron plane up in the air. We had like 3 Russian Special Flight Squadron planes go into Belarus the last few days. We'll see if this one goes there too. Putin went to Belarus already. The Russian Minister of Defense went to Belarus. Belarus did joint Air Force drills with Russia. Belarus also said that they're ready to put 3 of their provinces on wartime martial law mode. So Belarus is looking like it's ready to go to war. We'll see where this Russian plane goes. It looks like it might be going towards Belarus. Look, it's just heading west right now. That's not too common. Got these aerial refuelers here. Just going to check some of the headlines. Give me 1 sec, guys. See if there's any updates. 1 second. Melissa Jackson says, Greg, I will have you know that I got my family to subscribe to your channel. Oh, wow. That's awesome, Melissa. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's always cool to hear people say that they watch me. They watch me on their TVs in their living rooms. It's always just surreal to hear people say stuff like that, you know. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it is scary how Russia's constantly threatening with nukes. I got attacked for multiple videos, but it was the culinary night. The culinary night I got attacked, and multiple people attacked me for that. They said that I was lying and making up stories, that it was a training exercise and I was making it up for views. Just totally crazy. I mean, these are just people that are nuts. Why would I do something like that? First of all, that would ruin my credibility if I did something like that. Second of all, I'm a Christian and I wasn't raised to lie and make up stories like that and you know, get people worked up for no reason, you know. But yeah, there was the guy from Blazing Press, Texas News Studio. He was saying that, you know, I made it all up, and then there were some other channels. I'm not going to mention any names of the other channels, but I frequently come under attack and criticism, you know, because I think outside the box, you know, and I ruffle people's feathers. I'm not afraid to share my opinions, so people get offended by that. I think outside the box, so, you know, sometimes people get offended. Let me just check and see if there's any updates here. Just checking for any updates. Biden is going to be meeting Zelensky in Normandy before attending the G7. U.S. President Biden will meet with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in Normandy following the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Now we know why the E4 went there. Yeah, it's because of D-Day. So, yeah, it looks like Biden is going to D-Day, and then, Biden is going to the G7 meeting, but he's stopping off in Normandy, and he's going to probably, you know, take part in the ceremony and then meet with Zelensky after. This is interesting. Look, we have a Russian doomsday plane heading towards Belarus. Check that out. That's not too common. Tupolev 214 PU. Let me just find an official description of this plane. It's the Flying Command Post. The aircraft was developed after a decision by the President of the Russian Federation in order to strengthen the presidential air fleet. The airplane has the latest communications and control equipment and other electronic instruments. Overall, 3 aircraft were manufactured since the May of 2010. The second version of the Tu-214PU was delivered in January 2011 with one of those aircraft, which was delivered. That was the first official visit of Medvedev. I don't know. So yeah, this is a flying command post. So this is a presidential doomsday plane, guys. This could be Putin. They only have 3 of these planes in the Russian Air Force, and we have one going to Belarus right now. Look, you know, and I'm sure there's going to be someone who's going to say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, that's not a doomsday plane." Blah blah blah. You know, there's one guy in particular who likes to really criticize me if my facts are not 100% accurate. He likes to correct me. Cheryl says, by the way, love your truck and new tires. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I have some more truck videos, by the way, coming out. I actually had a new bumper installed and some lighting, and this past few days, I've been doing a lot of work on it. I added a new intake, air scoop, and a new K&N high flow intake. The K&N intake really, actually, I was skeptical, but it actually put on a lot of torque and horsepower. I'm gonna maybe do some 0 to 60 videos at some point. The thing is like scary fast now. Even with those big mud tires. It's not a Raptor or TRX, but it's fast. A lot of power. Internal combustion engine power. Petroleum. Thank you, Vanessa, for the kind comment. I really appreciate that, Vanessa. Yeah, I'm telling you, with the K&N intake, I put it on and I was skeptical, but when I put the intake on, I think I picked up like 50 pounds of torque and like 30 horsepower. I mean, it's a huge difference now with that intake. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just a snake oil sales, those cold air intakes, but no. At least the K&N high flow, you got to get the oiled filter, the high flow filter. That thing is like, it makes a huge difference. It really does. At least for my truck, it does. I don't know about other vehicles, but... Yeah, the Ford Raptors, they're nice trucks, but I've seen them break down sometimes. And plus, the Ford Raptor, it's not really, for this part of the country, it's not really the best option. The Ford Raptor is more for people that want a race truck. I mean, 600 horsepower, it's not going to make a difference in the woods. If you're off-roading, whether you have 600 horsepower or 400 horsepower, it's all a wash, I mean, once you get over a certain number of horsepower, it doesn't matter that much off-road. Having a lot of crazy horsepower is not going to help you in soft mud. You're still going to get stuck. You may actually get stuck faster with more horsepower because the wheel spin is going to dig you in faster. But they are cool. The Raptors and the TRX, they're so cool to see. They're just crazy fast, but plus, with the turbos, they're not as reliable. The turbochargers, it just adds a whole complexity, that things can break down and fail. And, especially for like SHTF, I don't want to deal with turbochargers that could go wrong. Just more things that can break. Ken Jackson, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, Toyotas are very reliable for sure. They're the king of reliability. I'm not sure how Toyota trucks are, but for all their vehicles in general, obviously they last forever. I've had my family. You know, we've had Toyotas on and off for years. They always last long time. I mean, you can't kill a Toyota. So this is interesting, guys. We got this Russian doomsday plane going to Belarus now. Check it out. That's not too common. This has me concerned, actually. We got Jake 17 taking off right now. This is a reconnaissance plane taking off from Mildenhall. Wonder where it's going to go. Is it going to go up north to Russia, to the Kola Peninsula, or is it going to go up to the Baltics? Yeah, this Russian plane is interesting, though. We got the nuclear war command and control plane over Missouri right now. And we have all these refuelers here off of Baja, California. This is weird. Look at that. Wow, there's a bunch right here. Just doing loops here. Check it out. Some of them went further down, and then some of them are looping now near Tijuana. Strange. So you guys tuning in right now are getting a preview of my update tomorrow, because I'm going to talk about this in my update, so you guys are getting a head start ahead of everybody else. Gary Burns says, Jesus Christ is King of Kings. Amen. Jesus Christ is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Thank you for the gifted memberships, Ken Jackson. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's very nice of you. Yeah, Vanessa, it's not good at all. Going to Belarus, yeah, it's a bad sign. The altitude on the aerial refuelers, you can see right here, they're like 20,000 feet, between 20 and 25,000 feet. And the nuclear war command and control plane appears to be gaining altitude. That's pretty interesting. The one over Missouri now, the E6, appears to be gaining altitude. That could mean that it's going to start transmitting messages. Look, it's going up. You see that? It's going up. It's up to 33,625 feet. It was just at 33,400 feet. It's going up. Now it's up to 33,700 feet. It's probably going to drop its antenna. That's why it's gaining altitude. 33,775 feet, 33,875 feet. Yeah, it's going up. Good night, Rodney Middleton. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you probably on the next one. Hopefully you'll be here on the next one. My first pickup truck was a 91 Toyota. It had a 5-inch lift and 32-inch tires, and that thing, I mean, I could go anywhere with that thing. It was amazing off-road because it was small, and it was just a 2-seater, and it was small and had huge tires for its size, you know, and I mean, it was cool. I could go anywhere. And it was light, so it would float on top of deep snow and mud. Serena Smith, thank you for the donation. I'm so glad you get support from other people and us in here, Greg. You tell it as it is and are always right. God bless you. Oh, thank you, Serena Smith. I don't know if I'm always right. I will admit sometimes I'm wrong. I think only God himself is always right, but most of the time I try to be right, you know. Thank you very much for the donation and the kind comment. Good night, Curb Creeper. Still see a lot of people in here. At 2 a.m. Eastern time, we still have a lot of people here. Joe Patterson says, hey, Greg, if you ever need car info, just ask me. Been an auto tech for many years. Oh, that would be awesome, Joe. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to ask you some questions. I don't know if you have an email or something I can reach you at, or if you could send me an email and I'll respond back, and that would be awesome. I have a ton of questions, actually. Amy Sturdivant says, because Putin will have Belarus, let me see. Because Putin will have Belarus fire a nuke, they are rogue. It won't trigger the same war footing as if Russia launches. Exactly, that's right. That's right. He's going to use Belarus as the sacrificial lamb because he knows that if Belarus does it, it's not like Russia did it, right? So if anything happens, Belarus is going to be the one that's going to, take the brunt of the retaliatory strikes, not Russia. So it's just a proxy. Putin is using Belarus as a proxy, basically. It's going straight for Belarus. Look, going straight for Belarus. Yeah, this is weird. Trucks are very high priced now. Even like smaller trucks like Tacomas, even Tacomas are like $40,000 plus new, which is crazy for a small truck, they're very expensive. How does a person donate? You can donate on my PayPal. There's a link at the top of the chat. If you don't want to donate to PayPal, you can donate in the chat. In the chat box, you'll see like where you type your text in. You'll see like a little $sign next to the smiley face. You click the $sign and you can donate that way. Just remember, when you donate through YouTube, YouTube takes 30%. If you go to PayPal, I get like 90+% of it. So, it's not like YouTube where they take 30%. Spencer says, I think people are pretty upset and can feel what's going on. Yeah, it's just totally crazy. And then on top of that, our financial markets here in the U.S. are collapsing. Let me just check the markets. We have 63 banks that are on the verge of failing potentially. $500 billion in unrealized losses. So that's something we got to keep an eye on. We still we haven't had a major recession since Obama years. I think we're overdue for a depression, honestly. I mean, we're very lucky considering everything going on in the world right now with all these wars and everything going on. I mean, the stock market is still going up. We haven't had any like big financial collapses or anything, but that's something that could happen, That's something that could still happen, considering everything going on in the world. I mean, it's not unlikely that would happen, We're overdue. We haven't had a recession since 2008. That was the last recession we had. It's been like 15 years almost. So we're overdue. We're overdue for a world war. We're overdue for a recession, depression. We're overdue for a solar flare like the Carrington event. We're overdue for a lot of things, guys. And the chickens are going to come home to roost soon, so you better be prepared when that happens. Someone said, are you hearing a car engine? No, that's my fan probably. I just turned the fan on because I was getting hot. That's funny though. Good night, JP. Thanks for tuning in. Melissa is saying people are asking for an update. What would you like an update on? If you want to get an update on the latest, you can go back to the beginning of the stream. I went over the news, the major news in like the first 45 minutes or so. But yeah, I'll do a quick recap for you. Let me just get my notes out here. Hold on. So yeah, the major headlines is that the Israeli Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, said that the situation with Hezbollah is nearing a decision point, and this came after Hezbollah launched a massive attack on Israel 2 days ago, and then Israel retaliated. We had 11 mice in New Mexico test positive for bird flu. These were the first mice to have been infected outside of lab experiments. French military instructors in Ukraine are now going to be legitimate targets for Russian attacks, according to Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. The U.S. Embassy in Ukraine is saying that men with Ukrainian and U.S. dual citizenship will no longer be able to leave Ukraine. Men between the ages of 18 and 16 or 18 and 60 that are both U.S. and Ukrainian citizens will not be able to travel outside of Ukraine. And that's obviously because they're going to start drafting people because Russia is going to launch their big offensive soon. And the New York Times confirmed, according to a Ukrainian official, that Ukraine has used American weapons for the first time on Russian soil. They used a Himars rocket to destroy a Russian air defense system. Okay? So those are some of the biggest headlines. And South Korea is going to start doing artillery drills near the DMZ. The embassies of multiple European countries are discussing whether or not Russia would deliver retaliatory strikes if Ukraine took down more radars in Russia. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Manny Cruz, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Manny Cruz. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good start to your week. It's actually the middle of the week now. It's hump day now. Happy hump day. Almost hump day. I mean, by the clock, it's already Wednesday, but by, daylight, it's still Tuesday night. Sarah Rudy, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I hope you're doing well. Diane Ware, thank you for the donation. Do I have any videos on Barrett 50 cal rifles and how to use them? No, I do not. I don't actually own a 50 cal. It's on my list of things to get. Maybe I'll get one in the next year or two. We'll see. They're pretty expensive, and they're very heavy too. Even for a big, strong guy like myself, carrying one of those things around is just not practical. you know, for like an SHTF situation, there's really limited things you could do with it, unless you live out in Kansas or Iowa and you have some kind of perch that you can get up into, and you know, you can see everything around for like 2-3 miles in all directions. Then yeah, that's a great thing to have. But like over here in the Appalachians, you know, you're not going to really need a 50 cal to be able to reach out 3 miles. It's cool to have. I want to get one. It's just not on the top of my priorities list right now. The cost to benefit ratio is just not worth it. There's other ways you can take out armored vehicles and stuff without a 50 cal too, you know. There's other things you can do. So, but yeah, maybe you'll see a 50 cal on the channel soon. We'll see. Maybe I'll have to get myself a Christmas present this year. Who knows? Yeah, I wouldn't try to build one. Even building one, it's still going to cost almost as much, if not more, as a new one, you know, or a factory one. Actually, a lot of my rifles are custom built, and I never had any issues, but 50 cal is a whole nother animal. Aldo says the network was out a long time. Oh, wow. I want an old truck with a diesel engine that can be converted to run on French fry oil or an alcohol engines. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, like an old diesel truck. Preferably one that's like before 2008, when they had the Dieselgate, you know, where they put all those exhaust recirculation and the carbon trap and all that crap that they put in, that makes the diesels less reliable now, because they have all those emissions controls that can really screw up the reliability of a diesel. You know, diesels are supposed to be like the most reliable, and now because of all the crap that they put on the exhaust, you know, the DEF fluid that you got to pour in and all that crap, just makes it less reliable, you know, than even just a regular gas engine. Yeah, like a early 2000s or 90s diesel would be awesome for sure. For a bug out truck, that would be a good option for sure. And yes, you could run a diesel off of vegetable oil, as long as it's thinned out. It has to be thinned out a little bit. It can't be like pure oil. It has to be thinned out. You got to mix a little bit of alcohol in with it and thin it out a little. But yeah, you can also run a diesel engine off of heating oil, because heating oil and diesel is like they're almost identical. You can use heating oil. Some people you can even use kerosene if you had to, because it's a compression engine, so it'll burn almost anything. I mean, it'll burn even pure oil. That's why you have runaway diesel engines, because they'll even just burn pure oil, you know, and you get the runaway diesels. Look at this, guys. We now have 5 aerial refuelers here off the Baja Peninsula. Look at this. This is insane. Wow. Absolutely crazy. Wow, we got like 5 refuelers here. This is crazy. Wow. I've never seen anything like this before. This is pretty weird. Any of you guys out there have allergies? I've been getting crazy allergies the last like month. It's the worst allergies I've ever had in my life this year. For some reason, they're just so bad this year. I usually get them in the spring, and that's it. Just like May, June, when the trees and everything are blooming. Otherwise, I normally don't have them, but it's been so bad. Wow, look at that. The Russian plane disappeared. Look, it's gone. Look, it disappeared. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Yeah, the allergies are bad this year. Allergies suck. I'm glad I'm not the only one suffering. It's really annoying. It's like having a cold nonstop. And I take all different medicine and it doesn't do anything, you know. I finally started taking Zyrtec, and I actually have to double up on my doses because if I just take one pill a day, it doesn't do anything. I have to take 2 pills a day, which they say you're not supposed to do, but it's the only way for me to get any relief. Oh yeah, here we go. It reappeared now. The Russian doomsday plane heading into Belarus. Tiffany says, I'm back. I can't sleep. I knew you'd be back. I had a feeling. No allergies in heaven. That's true. Amen. Amen. Sorry for keeping everybody up tonight. Wow, this is crazy. Look at this. This is insane. Look at all these refuelers. E6 is still up over Iowa. Wow. Just going to check and see if there's any new news here. 1 minute, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I had to just take a short break. I was sitting here for the last 3 hours, so I had to just get up and walk around a little bit. Yeah, sorry about the static. I gotta fix that. The thing is if I set the squelch too high, then sometimes messages won't come in, and then so it's a trade-off. You know, you have less of those annoying static noises, but then you don't get the messages coming in as much. Serena Smith says you're forgiven. Did I go to get a new fan? That's funny. No, I just had to take a short break here. Crispy Chris says it's pretty rural up here. So all the major news is in the beginning of the live stream. So you can go back and watch the first 30 to 45 minutes. That's where all the major news was. We have some breaking news coming in from Lebanon. There was a shooting near the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon that lasted nearly half an hour. The Lebanese army killed one attacker, and there are wounded among the embassy's security force. Wow. Wow, that's huge, guys. Some kind of a shooting in Lebanon. Wow. That's crazy. You can actually hear the shots there. Wow. So some kind of a shooting at the embassy in Lebanon. But Russia is definitely going to be pissed off because Ukraine destroyed one of their S-400s with our Himars. So that is pretty serious. Gino, thank you for the donation, for the gifted memberships. Thank you, Gino. Really appreciate it. Good morning, Barry Ellis. How's it going from the UK? That's awesome. The UK. I've never been to the UK. 2 U.S. Air Force F-15s in the North Sea. That's pretty concerning, considering that F-15s are nuclear strike jets. So that's pretty concerning. Yeah, Russia is always pissed off. Yeah, they're always looking for a reason to attack. So I'm just afraid that they're gonna do something crazy, though. Carol says I have a view of the Superstition Mountains. I used to watch this show, Superstition about the Superstition Mountains. I forget what it was called. They were looking for the lost Dutchman. It's great here, Greg. Visit Scotland and bring your umbrella. Yeah, Scotland looks beautiful. The Scottish Highlands. Yeah, beautiful. Melissa Jackson says prepper party at Greg's house. That's funny. Doomsday party. Owl Fox Prepper, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Could do with some weather now on the UK. I'm sick of the rain. Yeah, I know it rains a lot over there in the UK. It's constantly raining and foggy. Melissa says I saw the show about the Superstition Mountains. Yeah, it was a great show about the Lost Dutchman. Yeah, that was a great show. Carol says it's hot here and hasn't rained in months. The American embassy in Lebanon, there was a shooting. There was a shooting near the U.S. embassy in Lebanon, lasted nearly half an hour. The Lebanese army killed one attacker, and there are wounded among the embassy's security force. There's like a little video, but the video doesn't really show much, but you can just hear the gunfire in the background. We're hearing that Taiwanese forces have started deploying naval mines around the northern coast of the island to stop a Chinese invasion, especially around the port of Zhuhai. Wow. So Taiwan is mining their island. Wow. Biden has landed in the UK. He's going to go to the D-Day commemoration tomorrow. So we were just tracking that. His E4 night watch landed in the UK, and then we had that Russian doomsday plane. Check this out. The aerial refuelers are now heading back. You see that? Look. They're all going back now. And look, the RC-135 is coming back now. Look. The RC-135 is now on its way back. Wow, this is weird. So they all went down to this area here. All of these refuelers and the rivet joint, the recon plane, they all went down here. They hung out there for a while and then they came back. Look at that, guys. Just absolutely insane. Not sure what to make of that. It's pretty insane. Very strange. I've never seen a rivet joint go down there really that much. It's pretty rare. So I don't know if maybe there was a UFO or something over there. I don't know. They sent a bunch of recon assets to check it out. I don't know. We still have this E6 over here. Still have this E6 over here flying over Kansas. But this is insane. They're all going back to their bases now. All these refuelers. Look at this. Wow. And the RC-135, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 refuelers plus the rivet joint here. Going back to base now. Isn't that strange? That's so weird. Virginia Branch says LOL party at Greg's house. That's funny. Yeah, we'll have a doomsday party in my fallout shelter in my basement. Doomsday party. So if the doomsday party's at my house, you got to make sure you BYOP, bring your own potassium iodide. BYOP, bring your own potassium iodide. Or BYOB, bring your own Bible. That's another one too. But the Russian doomsday plane landed in Minsk, and we now have the Italian AWACS plane flying in eastern Poland. And Jake 17, the recon plane, is up. We also have a French recon plane up now over Poland. So things are definitely heating up here now. Got the two F-15s here. These are nuclear strike fighters. The F-15s. That's their main job now, is for nuclear weapons delivery. So pretty interesting. Makes great soup says, I will bring the soup, liters and liters of it. Oh, I love soup. What kind of soup would you bring? Soup is one of my favorite things, actually. Party like it's 1999. Yeah, I love iced coffee. Iced coffee is the best. Cold brew, iced coffee, yeah. Yeah, sure. It's a bring your own coffee situation. Sure. Oh yeah, I love iced coffee. I almost want to have some now, but it's too late. I would never sleep if I had some, but I just love it. Oh man. Jamaican soup and coffee on drip. Oh yeah, Jamaican soup is great. Potato soup. Jeff Panabaker says Potter County is truly God's country. Yes, Potter County. I love Potter County. I have a video I'm about to release. Maybe I'll release it later today on Potter County. I was there recently. I'm not too far from Potter County. I go up there sometimes. Mapper says I took a 40 milligram caffeine pill. Oh, wow. How about some pho? Yeah, pho is good. Oh, yeah, there's definitely going to be civil unrest. For sure. So we have some reconnaissance planes here in Poland. EAMs are quiet right now. Stock futures are up 68 points right now. The Dow futures are up. Looks like the stock market is going to open higher tomorrow, which is really strange considering that there's so much going on in the world and the stock market still goes up. It just makes me wonder how that's possible and if it's not all just going to come crashing down soon. Wow, we have breaking news coming in. A gunman affiliated with Hezbollah opened fire near the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon. Emergency alert. Emergency alert. A gunman affiliated with Hezbollah opened fire near a U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon. Wow. So we have some major breaking news coming in now. Almost sounds like it could be a false flag, possibly. I mean, it seems kind of weird. Suddenly a gunman from Hezbollah would decide to shoot up outside an embassy. Antonio Castellano says, Greg, something you have done that many others have not is you always stick to your faith and act with integrity and respect. I am impressed with how kind you are. Oh, thank you, Antonio. Thank you so much. Yeah, I try to stick with my faith and be as nice to people as I can. That's just how I was raised, to treat others the way I would want to be treated. That's interesting, Aldo, about the gold in Lebanon having higher carat, and the jewelry is nice there too. Interesting. We have another person that says they can't sleep. What's been happening is we had a Russian doomsday plane land in Belarus, which is not a good sign. And then we had a Russian doomsday plane go to Belarus, and we have currently some NATO reconnaissance assets over Poland. And then we have these aerial refuelers now returning from Baja California, and they're all landing in the Vegas area, which is pretty weird. And there was a shooting outside of the U.S. Embassy. That's the big one. The shooting outside of the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon. Supposedly a gunman affiliated with Hezbollah gunman opened fire outside of the U.S. Embassy. That's pretty serious. We're hearing now that Putin is wearing bulletproof vests more often. Putin is becoming more paranoid. The Moscow Times writes that Kremlin leader Vladimir Putin began wearing a bulletproof vest at public events in 2023 on the recommendation of the Federal Security Service. I'm surprised he hasn't always been wearing them. British security consultant Jade Miller has explained to journalists that, judging by the fact that Putin walks rather stiffly and his coat does not show natural creases when he walks, it can be concluded that the Russian leader may be wearing a bulletproof vest. Interesting. So I think I'm going to wind it down. It's already like 3:30 in the morning here. I got to go to sleep soon. Lucky Drop says I have level 4 armor but should look at new stuff, maybe lighter weight. Yeah, level 4 is good to have. It'll stop almost anything. I've done a lot of tests with level 4. It could basically stop anything, even elephant guns, 338 Lapuas. I've tested them with that. So yes, a moral compass is very important. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. Thank you, Enduro. I'm glad that I'm one of your favorite channels. He had to be topless for his photo shoot on the horse. That's why he had no bulletproofs on. That's funny. Serena Smith says, thanks for the live. No problem. Thank you, Serena. I hope you have a good night's sleep, too. Putin was very arrogant when he was young. Yeah, I think he was. I think he's still arrogant. Yeah, the rivet joint is coming back from the area. Yes, that's right, Crispy. That's right. I could leave the live stream up. Maybe I'll just leave it up. I don't know. I don't know if I should shut it down or leave it up. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to go to sleep, but I guess maybe I'll just shut it down then, right? Manny Cruz says, good people party at Greg's. Al Fox says, I keep forgetting the time difference. It's 8:27 a.m. here. Have a good rest. Thank you, Al Fox. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a 5-hour difference from the UK. Yeah, that sounds right. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Virginia says it's 1:30 here. Where are you, in the Rocky Mountains somewhere? Mountain time? $2:28 a.m. here in Texas. Only 1:30. No problem, Katharina Boyer, no problem. Thanks for tuning in. Steven Seagal got some award from Putin. Yeah, he did. He did get some award, and Scott Ritter got pulled off a plane. Scott Ritter, the famous Scott Ritter, got pulled off the plane on his way to Russia. I wonder if he's going back to jail now for treason, maybe. Yeah, I agree. Boots and braces. 12-hour difference here in the Philippines. Oh, we got someone tuning in from the Philippines. That's awesome. Philippines sounds real nice. The nice beaches there. Really nice beaches. Manny Cruz, thanks for the donation. I appreciate that. Thanks for all the support, and it was good to hang out with you tonight. Thanks for everything. Reuters has a live cam outside the U.S. Embassy. Interesting. Thanks again, Manny Cruz. I appreciate it. That's funny, Lisa Sparks. That's funny. That's funny. $10mm is awesome, but have you seen a 460 Roland? I know what the 460 Roland is. My buddy Chuk and Chuck from Alaskan Ballistics, they're big on the 460 Roland, but I just stick with the 10mm for my purposes, and if I need anything bigger, I'll go up to a 500 Magnum or just carry a rifle, you know. But yeah, 460 Roland is definitely very cool. It's definitely very cool. Wow, look at all these refuelers coming back. And the rivet joint. Antonio says YouTube is risky. For safety of the channel, shutting it down is the safe bet. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to shut it down. I'd love to just leave it up so you guys can hang out. But I'm afraid if I leave it up, you know, YouTube is going to do something weird or something like that. But I'll probably be back again tomorrow night with another stream. I'll probably stream earlier tomorrow. KFT says, I just watched Lewis's video and the newest Mexican president is female and of Jewish heritage. Interesting. So thank you guys for all the support. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow or Thursday night. And hope you guys have a good night's sleep. And thanks to the mods. Aldo, thanks for staying up and moderating. I appreciate it. And until next time, have a good night, guys. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.